The entire diamond industry is a $100 billion scam designed to make you spend a fortune on something that's not as valuable or as rare as you think.
They managed to convince men to go into debt to buy these worthless things.
I've spent months digging into the diamond trade, and the dark secrets I found will shock you. In this video, you'll learn how the idea that diamonds are forever was fabricated, how powerful companies control the markets to inflate prices, and the real human cost hidden beneath the sparkle.
I was 5 years old when I started working in the diamond mines.
So before you consider dropping 3 months' salary on that ring, you need to see this. Because the truth about diamonds is far darker than you ever imagined.
People back home wouldn't buy a ring if they knew it cost someone else their hand.
To really understand why people are willing to drop millions of dollars on a shiny stone, we need to go back to the early 20th century. Back then, diamonds weren't exactly flying off the shelves. In fact, the diamond industry was in a bit of a slump. That's when De Beers, the company that controlled most of the world's diamond mines, decided to take action.
Diamonds are a great example of how desire has been manufactured.
In 1938, amid the Great Depression, De Beers hired the New York advertising agency N.W. Their mission was simple: to make people believe that diamonds were not just desirable, but essential. So in 1947, a young copywriter named Frances Scarcity penned down the now famous slogan,
"A diamond lasts forever."
Diamonds are forever.
Diamonds are forever.
A diamond is forever. De Beers.
Now this is where things get interesting. De Beers had a 3-step plan to embed this idea deep into our culture. First, they placed diamonds on the fingers of glamorous actresses in films and at public events, making them synonymous with romance and luxury. Next, they fed newspapers romantic stories about celebrities and socialites getting engaged with dazzling diamond rings. They even went as far as giving lectures in high schools promoting the idea that a diamond engagement ring was essential for any respectable marriage proposal. And guess what? It worked. Before the campaign, only about 10% of brides received diamond engagement rings. By the end of the 20th century, that number skyrocketed to over 80%. De Beers had single-handedly created a cultural phenomenon. But this raises another question. If diamonds aren't as rare as we've been led to believe, how do they maintain such high prices? The answer to that question reveals an even deeper layer of manipulation, because what you're about to see is the biggest scam of the century. For decades, De Beers had a virtual monopoly over the diamond industry. At their peak, they controlled up to 90% of the world's diamond production. But how did they use this power? According to a 1982 report by the New York Times, De Beers was sitting on a stockpile of diamonds worth over $5 billion. When adjusted for inflation, that's over $14 billion in today's money. Think about it. If you own almost all the water in a desert town and release only a little each day, you can charge whatever you want. But that was not all. They tightly controlled who could buy diamonds by creating a system called the Diamond Syndicate.
Now listen closely.
Here's how it worked. They handpicked a few hundred diamond dealers worldwide, known as site holders. These site holders were invited to view and purchase diamonds in site boxes. But there was a catch. The dealers had to buy the diamonds at the price and quantity De Beers set. No negotiations. If they refused, they risked losing access to diamonds altogether. This allowed De Beers to control diamond flow and prices globally.
Not afraid to use their monopoly, De Beers has been known to flood the markets and crash prices when individual miners look to cut them out of the value chain.
According to Edward J. Epstein, the cartel's control over supply has kept diamond prices up to 10 times higher than they would have been in the free market, which means the ring you might buy for $5,000 could be worth only $500 if the market wasn't manipulated. In 2004, they were fined $10 million for violating antitrust laws, but that's a drop in the bucket compared to the billions they've made over the years. And it gets worse. The real cost of diamonds is exactly what the industry doesn't want you to know about. First, you've probably heard of blood diamonds.
blood money.
Blood diamonds, actually.
In the late 1990s, diamonds were being mined in war zones and sold to finance armed conflicts against governments. Countries like Sierra Leone, Angola, and Democratic Republic of Congo were engulfed in brutal civil wars, funded in part by the diamond trade. In Sierra Leone alone, it's estimated that over 50,000 people were killed during the civil war. But it doesn't end there. According to a 2016 report by the US Department of Labor, diamond mines in countries like the Central African Republic and Guinea employ children as young as 6 years old.
Where nearly 4 out of 10 children are child laborers.
Mined by children's hands in dangerous and dirty conditions.
Statistics show that over 1 million children are involved in mining worldwide.
I was 5 years old when I started working in the diamond mines.
Kalala worked from sunup until sundown every day as a sifter.
Now you might think lab-grown diamonds solve these problems. Some even say they are better than natural diamonds. No child labor, no environmental destruction, and free from taint of conflict. But there's a problem. Some sellers market lab-made diamonds as rare or even pass them off as natural to unsuspecting buyers, often at inflated prices. Without proper certification, you could be paying a premium for something that's manufactured at a fraction of the cost. But now the pressing question is, can this billion-dollar scam be stopped? Because the power to change this narrative might just be in our hands. If you choose to buy a diamond, check the description for brands that focus on transparency and ethical sourcing, or explore alternatives like lab-grown diamonds or other gemstones. Because at the end of the day, true love doesn't need a diamond to shine. It just needs you. I'm excited to share my next video about Palantir, the billion-dollar company that knows everything about you. Click the subscribe button so you don't miss out when it's posted.